the growth that you can have with a friend.
Like all of our friends. That's not what you ever say.
We have
fucking obviously.
Like, finally.
I'm like,
Did you like Bedtime Stories? Fucking love Bedtime Stories. He's the kid from Bedtime Stories. Everything I've ever wanted to hear.
oh my God, like,
No, you can't go back to Australia. He's like, I want to marry you.
I'm going to marry this woman.
And I was like, okay.
And don't lose it.
Serious at the
So
same
weird.
time.
Present to you Emmy Award-winning Eden McCoy. Why are you dating her? We don't like you. I'm just like, I'm sorry. Should I do it on camera right now?
Welcome back to the First Rounds on Me podcast, brought to you by the premier dating app that connects you from scene to screen, First Rounds on Me.
Whoa.
I'm Joe Feminella. With me is my beautiful wife, Hannah, and we're thrilled to be your host today. Babe, who do we have on the show today?
Well, my darling, we are welcoming back two familiar faces to the show
Excited
today.
for that.
What began as separate journeys on our platform has now blossomed into a beautiful relationship. Jonathan Heit, known not only for his acting roles in films like Bedtime Stories, Valentine's Day and Date Night, but also as gallery owner of Heit Gallery, joins us alongside the beautiful and talented Eden McCoy, an Emmy Award-winning actress, which you just, earlier this year won the Emmy?
December. Yeah.
Celebrated for her portrayal of Josslyn Jacks on General Hospital. We're going to get the scoop on their journey from friendship to love, uncover their unique insights on maintaining a relationship amidst busy schedules and the spotlight, and then put their connection to the test with a fun little game of how well do they know each other. Eden and Jonathan, welcome back to the show.
Wow, so
We're so excited.
two
So
past
excited.
guests that are now dating because of First Rounds on Me. No, I'm
On First Rounds on Me.
Yeah.
not true,
Swear.
not true.
That would have
This is
been
amazing.
absolute fucking iconic if that was the
no,
way it's actually gone down.
they're too big a profile to have met on First Rounds
But
on Me.
I did watch her podcast from First Rounds on Me pod, and I studied it, and I think that's part of the reason that we're here today.
No, right, really?
Yeah.
All right, so wait, correct me if I'm wrong. Did we have Eden on the show because of you?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so you
that was
connected us.
Yeah, he set it up. He was like, once we were hanging out or something, and you were like, you should be on my friend's podcast. Like, it's so fun.
Well,
It's
it's
all
funny
because of him.
Because
Thank you.
he literally connected us with so many people that I lose track now. And then when we'll
Yeah.
meet people like, oh yeah, we know them because of Jonathan.
Yeah, he does that.
He's a real lifeblood of a lot of connections, I think, which
Thank you.
makes you
Well,
a
you
perfect-
came up in a conversation the other day that Hannah and I had with, do you know Monroe?
Yeah.
So we went out with Monroe and her boyfriend, and I was like, the only person that I've really connected with in LA is you, thanks to her. And I was like, he's just the nicest soul I've ever met.
Get out of here.
Remember, it's all because
You don't
of
hear
me.
what I say behind your back. Yeah.
Well, I think that, in saying that, both of you have had past episodes, and if you want to get to know a little bit more about them as individuals, then go check out those episodes. By the way, Eden, you're our top performing podcast.
Yeah, so
I
sorry, Jonathan.
can't believe that
Sounds
a little
bad.
bit.
Yeah, you're like the only real celebrity we've had because people like
Generous,
my sister. I keep
thank you.
telling
I mean,
So rude
I'm
to
right
defend.
here.
you're not on that level, Jonathan.
I know.
But my sister's like, you don't really know Eden. And I'm like, no, like, look at the podcast. Like, she was on the podcast. And she's like, if you know who she really is, can you tell her I say hello? I'm like, yes.
Wait, your
Ricky.
sister said that?
My sister is a big fan of yours.
Oh, you're
Oh
going to
my-
have to
I
take a
didn't
picture
know.
and
Yeah,
then
we'll take a
send
picture,
it to her.
send it
She's
to
going to be
her.
excited.
Wait,
doesn't
that's
believe
so
me.
sweet.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Ricky.
Ricky.
Hi,
Shout out
Ricky.
Ricky.
Oh
Thank
my
you.
God, she's going to lose her fucking
She's
mind.
gonna lose her
Oh my
mind.
God.
So I think that, like I said, there's episodes of you guys as individuals, and so people can go check that out. But I really wanted to dive into like the guts of what I wanted to talk about today, which is friendship turning into love. They do say that the best relationships start with friendship and then kind of morph into love. So I want you to take us back to that, like the first moment you guys actually met each other and became friends.
Do you want to or me?
Go ahead.
I mean,
you
I'll
take it away.
know it by heart at this point. I met him, I don't know, 2.5 years ago, probably. And I had been in Spain, and I got back, and my best girlfriends in LA had met a few guys and became super fast friends with them. And Jonathan was one of them. And I met him at one of my best friend Lilia's houses in the pool.
Really?
Yeah, we were having like a pool day, and he was there.
Okay,
And
so when you first met each other, was there like a little hint of attraction, or was it kind of straight friendship?
I always thought he was cute.
Yeah.
For sure. But
How could you not?
I mean, but we honestly, I mean, that friend group kind of dissipated, and we always stayed really close.
Yeah.
And we were just fast friends.
Yeah.
Like, that relationship just was always like very consistent.
I mean, I also think there's a difference between finding someone attractive And then like as a friend, like I mean, I have friends that I'm like, oh, obviously they're attractive. Like if someone's like,
You can say it objectively.
yeah, of course. And then like later on, like being attracted to someone. But I do remember very clearly, like at least from my end, her laying on a pool floaty and me like swimming up and like putting my hands on the pool floaty and just like, who is this new person that just came into the party? And yeah, I mean, it wasn't even like our friendship kind of grew slowly because she was back and forth and working and I was working and I was just like, I mean, I think when we talk about friends turning into a relationship or even friends staying friends, like it's all about timing. And when we think back and we talk about it now, it's like, it wouldn't, there's a reason that it's happening now. And our friendship built a core relationship that our actual relationship could flourish off of versus, you know, just jumping into something with someone that I met in the pool. I could have proposed right then, but
how romantic that would have been as well.
Confide dating information to each other when you guys were dating other people?
Yeah.
Like, oh,
all the time.
Because I think that's the key to friendships turning into great relationships is because you have like an easy way of figuring out what that person thinks without it being them.
For
Where
sure.
It's like, hey, I went on a date with so-and-so and this is what happened. And then Eden could be like, oh yeah, this is what I would have done. You're like, okay,
Yeah.
let me keep a note of
That's what I'm saying. I watched her whole podcast and I have a note in my notes app. I'm like,
No, you don't.
second 23 wants a protective boyfriend. Second 24, I'm sitting there and I'm like ordering like, you know, how to be a protective boyfriend for dummies, you know?
I actually remember when you got back from Spain, which it was supposed to be 2 weeks for your sister's.
Yeah.
And then you just left us.
And we were sitting down in
was.
Soho House. And I was like, you're not going back to Spain. You're like, yeah, I'm going back to Spain. And then you were like, you know what's funny? You can't tell anybody, but I started really liking Eden. And I was like, oh, wow. And you were like,
Oh my God, I don't know this.
and
This
he was
is so
like,
exciting.
you don't remember this
No, I
conversation?
do now that you're saying
And
it.
then
but
he was like, yeah, it's just different. And then I started to talk to him about when I met Hannah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, it's fun to date, but when you meet somebody different, it's really different.
for sure.
And then a couple weeks
Known
after
it for
that,
the
you're like,
first
yeah, I'm
time.
staying in LA longer. And I was like, yeah, you're
Yeah.
never going back to Spain.
Well,
And then he never left
we've
again.
talked about it recently because I remember like not wanting, because I mean, the truth of it is she's not the only reason that I stayed, but I remember making it like, at least in my head, trying
Every
to
other reason
come up with
before
every
me.
other reason to stay. And I remember we were at, what was it? The Holly Hills Cafe. What do they call it now? Clark Street Diner. And I'm like, and we'd already been like dating at this point. And I was like, so I've been thinking about something and I think I'm going to stay. The reason is my sister's having a baby and I want to be around the baby. And, you know, I'm starting to act again. So like really taking that seriously. And, you know, you're there and
Literally like that.
Verbatim?
No, it wasn't like a thing. It wasn't like a romantic like gesture. I mean, it was romantic in his way, but it wasn't like, I'm serious about you and I'm gonna stay. It was like,
well, I don't think
his way of
were we
saying,
actually, we weren't together then.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
We had been like seeing each other.
Yeah.
And it was just really sweet because I knew what he was getting at, and he just like, it was just a very specific way.
I feel like if you had
putting it.
said, like, if you come out straight out and been like, I'm staying because of you, that would have put an insane amount of pressure.
would've
No,
loved
I would have loved it.
Yeah, she
You
would have
would've
loved
I mean,
it.
I'm like at the table, like ecstatic, like dying. I'm like, this is everything I've ever wanted to hear. I don't care how you have to say it, just stay here.
Pretty cool.
Oh my
But,
God, that's so sweet.
I
Yeah.
love the best part about being in a relationship in terms of like being in a relationship with your friend is that now like she can tell me about things that like she thought at different phases in our relationship that like I would have no idea.
What do you mean?
Like I was on the phone with her and her friend, and as I was hanging up, we'd already been seeing each other, and I said, all right, I'll talk to you later. Hung up the phone.
Like that.
But did the
I
friend
think
know?
it was
And
I'll talk to you later.
I
And
was
then-
on the couch with one of my best friends, Lexi. Lexi will for sure watch this. She
Yeah.
knows all of this. But we were on the couch and he called and he'd spent time with Lexi. Like he loves her. And it was just, that happened. And then I just like looked immediately at Lexi and she like looked at me and we were like literally like this. And then we were like, okay, like bye, like whatever. And I literally like I got up and like ran around.
I texted
And
Lexi
2
the other
days
day.
ago, he like
I said, I need to know the true story. What did Eden do the second I hung up the phone after accidentally saying I
He
love
doesn't
her?
believe
You guys
me.
both have a lot of insider information
Yeah.
with friends.
Yeah.
which is
yeah.
cool.
But she didn't tell me. She's
Oh.
like, I'll never
She's like,
tell.
I'll never tell you. She's so
Oh, so that's the
great,
first time
so
you're hearing
loyal.
that? That she was up and
No,
running
no,
around?
she
Okay,
told me,
okay.
and I wanted to know if that was true. No, I was trying to confirm. I'm like, there's no way you
okay,
jumped up
okay.
and down.
Yeah,
And I guess
full jump up and down.
I guess there
like
was some jumping
got
involved.
up off the couch and was
You
like,
know-
there's no way.
Joe almost told me that he loved me on our second date.
I remember this.
Literally,
We
like,
talked
staring
about
into
it
my eyes,
on
being
our-
like, I
on our
really want to
podcast.
say something.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, we've known each other for so long.
Yeah.
Like I've loved him for so long.
Yeah.
You know, in different ways throughout the years, but like I mean, I've told you I loved you as a friend.
Yeah.
I don't even know how many times.
Yeah, but
you
it's
know what I mean?
but fucking heavily
then-
loaded when it comes in a different way. Isn't
even
it?
more so because you're like,
Yeah.
it didn't mean what it meant a year ago.
No. Wait, so okay. Speaking of mutual friends, how did your mutual friends like kind of react when they heard that you were properly dating each other?
Oh, all of our
Everyone
friends.
just kind of
Everyone
Mutuals.
was like, yeah,
We know.
fucking obviously.
Like, finally.
finally. Everyone's reaction was just, yeah.
Were there any friends that had liked either of you that were a little sour? Were they like, fuck, I wanted to date that person?
Not that we know of.
Well, honestly, because I was gone for so long, a lot of my friends' first time meeting her was once we were already dating.
Okay.
really?
So, I mean, at least on my end, there was no, like, oh, I wanted to date Eden. I mean, I have friends that were like, oh, I like Eden's so hot or whatever. It's just
So
like,
you
yeah,
never,
no.
like, you guys
That's a
weren't
nice
part of like the
confirmation.
same
Yeah, thanks a
core
lot.
friend group.
Never speak again. Yeah.
That, you guys weren't part of the same core friend group. That friend group that you had met dissolved, and then you had
No,
your
I
own
mean, we're
friends.
all still very friendly. It
Yeah,
wasn't like a falling out or anything
The friend
like
group
that.
still exists. I went to Spain. So it was
Yeah,
like,
he
there was
moved
no,
and-
But you act like you went to Spain for years. You went to Spain for a couple months.
Yeah,
It was
but babe,
9 months, 10 months.
Babe,
True,
that's
okay.
a long time, and also at the same time, people can be away for a month and not be in and around each other. Then things kind of dissipate. That's just the
True.
reality of the situation.
Yeah.
come on, stay up. with
Come
the
on, Joe.
times, dude.
Did you ever have any concerns as you were like stepping into the relationship that it could potentially like jeopardize your friendship if it didn't work out, or is it something that you're still currently thinking?
Not really. Like it wasn't. I mean, I knew it was a big deal. Like it was a big deal to me because, I mean, it was a little scary just because that friendship was and is like very important to me. It's like he's never been a disposable person to like fuck around with and like nothing matters and it does, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like when we started seeing each other, it was so obviously different that I mean, I don't know. It was weighted for sure, but it wasn't a concern that made me like not want to do it.
Not
you know
wanna
what I
pursue
mean?
it, yeah.
There's always those back in the mind thoughts of like, either this works out or
It
I'm
doesn't.
never
you know what I
speaking
mean?
to
Like,
you
because
again.
it's also, I think it's, like I've been in long-term relationships before, but this is the first one where I'm like, either we spend like the rest of our lives together or we don't. There's no, like, we're just kind of, I mean, there's not that pressure like, oh shit, we're gonna, have kids in a house soon or anything like
It's
that.
not a hookup. It's not
But
like
it's
just a
but it's
part-time
still
thing.
like, when you're so happy with someone, you have those moments of like, oh wow, this
This
is
is
either
it.
it or it's
This is either
or
it
it's
or
it,
I'm devastated for 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
love that.
Oh, I love that too, but also don't even think about that. You kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, but like, in what ways do you think that being friends before has helped you in your like romantic relationship? It's like a tennis match with those
Yeah,
two
I'm like,
fucking heads.
Well, I mean, I think knowing each other as long as possible is great because things just get revealed with time and you get to know someone just like in the pure duration of time that you've known them. I mean, we've seen each other with other people. We've seen each other in other serious relationships. So I don't know. It's not like in like a creepy strategic way that it informs you of like, if I was going to date this person, this is everything. Cause we still learn new things about each other every day.
Of course.
And I think in a healthy relationship, you always do. Cause I mean, we're always changing. He'll always change and I'll always change. But I don't know. I mean, it can only make you closer. Like we were so close to start. I mean, now it's just funny that we haven't always dated to me.
Really?
Like now
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't believe I was friends with you.
I think, the thing that I preach to my friends now, being like all knowing about relationships and just having like done it already, and now we're like set forever, is timing, right? Like the growth that you can have with a friend is more dramatic than the growth I think you have in the beginning of any relationship. Because like going into the relationship, you have that honeymoon, super happy, like everything's all good. And there's really not that much growth happening then. The next major growth happens when the next major difficulty that you guys have in a relationship happens. And when you're friends with someone, you can have that growth together and it doesn't jeopardize your relationship because you're having it with other people and separately and learning about yourself. And then, I mean, for me, I feel like I'm good. I don't need any more hard times. But if when that happens, we've already done the growing together, that we're in a place, like a grounded place to have a relationship together and face those things together.
Yeah, I can only imagine that like the foundation of like trust and respect, which is imperative for any relationship, whether it be friendship, whether it be romantic, was so strong and so solid that you're just building upon that. As you said, like I think people, when they get into relationships, there is that honeymoon phase where you're just like so fucking obsessed with this person. It's great. You have these rose-colored glasses looking at them, whereas you guys had a real deep understanding of kind of the nitty-gritty of each other in a really beautiful way. Yeah. And then you get to continually expand on that and compound on that.
Yeah.
Friggin' love that, guys.
It's pretty cool.
I love it for you.
But if she's ever mad at me, like it hasn't happened yet that I know of.
How long you been dating?
5 months.
Right. I mean, that's pretty good. That's good that you haven't had.
No, I'll die. I can't even think about. We have conversations. I'm like, how is that gonna go? Because I'm not
he's and I'm the same way. Like when it comes to arguing, I can't eat or sleep until it's figured out.
Done.
And I actually believe
I'm the same way. I already know how you were.
He'd be over it. It would linger and eat at me until I knew for a fact it was okay.
That you're okay.
Yeah.
This is a 3-on-1 here.
Yeah, because
no, I already know you're the like. Let's just take the night.
No, this is what Joe does. We don't need to talk about it. Why would we need to talk about it? Everything's fine. Everything's fine, Hannah. I'm like, it's not fucking fine.
That's a really good Joe impression.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I perfected over the years.
I was playing poker with friends the other night, and it was pitched to me as like a poker, like a poker hangout. A bunch of people are gonna be there. It was 5 guys sitting at a table for 3 hours playing poker, and I had bought in. So I was like, I can't step out. And at a certain point, I turn around, I see her. She's reading a play on the couch, and we're just like sitting around this table, betting money, fake money. It was real money. That's why I was like into it. And then finally I was just like all in. And I put all the chips in, and then the whole way home, I'm like, I'm so sorry. That was like, I didn't even realize it had been 3 hours. Like don't worry, I won't eat ever again. But luckily, she wasn't mad. So
no,
well,
you didn't know.
Mine aren't that dramatic. It was more like the other night. I was supposed to. I didn't know this. I was supposed to buy tickets for this paint and sip tonight for her friend. So yesterday, she's like, "Did you buy Josslyn's paint sip?" I said, "Oh no, I sent
Joss
them.
Is fine.
I sent them the link."
Don't back him up.
And then she got all upset that I didn't buy it, and I was like, "Okay, I'm sorry, but it's not that big of a deal."
Yeah.
And then for the rest of the night, I was like,
"That's
no,
not what you ever said."
We have to talk about it. And I was like, "Talk about what? I didn't buy the ticket. I'll buy the ticket now." And like, it's fine. And she's like, "No, we have to talk about like the communication about it." I'm like, there's no communication about it. I didn't buy the ticket. I'll buy the ticket now."
No, it was the way that you were communicating with me, and I wasn't appreciating it. And especially in a marriage, you got to fucking nip that shit in the bud real quick, because I'm the same. We're married. Like, we got to live with each other for the rest of our lives.
Have I even seen you since you've been married?
I don't think you have.
I don't think so.
Okay, well, I have a question for you.
Yeah, we saw them at the Tyler's thing.
When did you, like, obviously you knew you were going to marry her before you proposed or had that conversation, but like, what was the step that was before, okay, I'm thinking about engagement, this is where I'm going to go with it?
So you know how you were saying you guys had the friendship and you know all this stuff and you grew together? It was the opposite for us. We were so hot and heavy and so like, oh, this is, because it was a different feeling. And I was living in LA and I thought, oh, this is fun, there's all these beautiful people here. And then I met her and I was like, oh, it hit differently. It was more real. But we kind of went so hot and heavy, and then I was so unevolved. Like, emotionally.
I can see her nodding out of the peripheral.
And we were so on different pages. Like I had to grow emotionally, and she had
to grow too.
She had to figure out a lot of past relationship stuff that I was being dealt past guys' hands. So we actually broke up for good. It was like really tough, and I didn't think that I was going to marry her, even though I knew like
I remember
feeling
because I was friends with Hannah. That's how I knew you.
Yeah. So when we broke up, I thought, oh, like I could have fun again in LA, and I could just relax.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen, and every day I thought about her, and I didn't want to date anybody.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, this is so weird. Like I'm single in LA again, and I actually don't want to do anything. I'm just thinking about Hannah.
Yeah.
And then I don't know why. I was like, don't reach out to her because you just want to move forward. And I was like, hey, do you want to get a coffee? Because she didn't wish me happy birthday.
No, I did. But I
just
all
like
said
a very
was
basic
happy
like,
birthday,
which
Joe.
I was like, oh,
Okay, so
pretty
that's a happy
bland.
birthday though.
But
He
you're
wanted, like,
expecting like, oh, this
Yeah,
is
yeah.
gonna be like the opening to a conversation.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. And I was like, shit. So then like another few weeks went by, and I was like, hey, like we should get a coffee. And I was like, why did I even say that? But you know, the feeling was there.
Yeah.
So we met for a coffee at Phil's Coffee on Ventura. And when she approached me again, I was like, oh my God, like I'm gonna marry this woman. Like those feelings
No
were like
way.
so heavy.
I just got chills.
And I was just like, I hope when I talk to her, we're both different in a way.
Yeah.
And we had a conversation, and I was like, oh my God, she worked on herself so much. And then she kind of, I think, felt the same about me because I was like being really more intentional. And we were supposed to get a coffee, and I was like, hey, do you want to go get something to eat? And
The date that never ended.
well, I
It was
think
one of
going
those.
into the date, she was going to be really strict on like, we're just getting coffee and like, that's it. And I think she was like, fuck yeah, let's go eat. And then we started to eat. And then I looked at her and I kissed her. And it was like a first date again.
Yeah.
And the kiss
That's
was
fun.
so electric.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, do you want to like keep hanging out? And she was like, yeah.
Cool.
And then we kind of just started dating again. And then I knew like, okay, I'm going to
Well, from then it was, and I had also said to him, I was like, I'm going back to Australia. Like I've kind of like
Yeah,
closed
which
the chapter
broke my heart.
of America. I've been here for 13 years. Like I'm over, like I'm done, right? And when he said that, he's like, no, you can't go. And I was like, but I'm going. Like I've made this decision. We broke up. We never thought that we would get back together. We had so much love for each other, but like it just wasn't a clear path forward. But from that moment, and he was like, no, you can't go back to Australia. He's like, I want to marry you. And I was like, okay. And then kind of like pushed. I mean, it wasn't that it wasn't that instantaneous. Excuse me, but it made so much sense.
But that's what I
yeah,
told
I'm
you.
actually going to go back to Spain.
But that's what I told you at SOAS because it's funny how that conversation was so new and raw, and it was, you know, I didn't. Who knew what it was going to lead
Yeah.
to? But you were like, yeah, something is different with Eden. And I said, dude, don't lose that. And yeah, it's fun to be single. It's fun to be in LA and whatever. But
Yeah.
once you get that realness with somebody who's so special, don't lose that. And you were just like, oh, all right. I'll take that into account.
cheesing so fucking hard over there. It's most.
Well, I was just
most-
explaining, like when he was
God.
saying
So
to
true,
Eden,
Dylan.
I was saying like, dude, that's what I felt with Hannah, and you
Yeah, I
don't,
remember,
you
I
don't want to
remember.
risk losing that.
I
you
remember.
know?
true,
I was having a club rap.
So the fact that you guys are both so busy, you're back from Spain, you're back into acting, Eden, you're always doing a million things. How do you guys find time with the busy schedules to kind of connect and keep dating, especially
Yeah.
after the hard launch and all the stuff going viral with that? I know.
Oh no. Hard launch.
Well, honestly, I think we have a pretty good, like, even though it's all over the place, it still feels like a routine. When she's working, she's gone before I wake up most of the time. And then she's working till 4 p.m. sometimes, sometimes late, sometimes the whole day. And then we really just try and, like, whenever, any chance we get where she has a break, I just make it my break and we go do something. I mean, and then also it's been easy this summer because she has a month off.
Yeah.
So this
A
month
lot
is
of
the
time
month
off
of like
work
crazy
in the
and
summer.
then back to it.
Because your schedule is pretty set with General Hospital, right?
Yeah, I mean, I work year round. My breaks are kind of spread out throughout the year, but I mean, I have a lot of time off in the summer, which is why we're like on tour right now, basically.
on
just
tour like that.
Going
What tour?
a million
World tour.
world tour. This is gonna affect the world tour. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's interesting. Like we're so busy. I feel like we spend so much time together though.
Yeah.
In like the best way. Like
agree.
I've never had that like it's never enough for me.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean we both really like being busy. You know, like we like to have a lot going on. We're used to that. Like that's
She's
our
the
nature.
busiest person in the world. I feel like the laziest person that's ever lived.
No.
Because I wake up at like 8:30 and she's been at work for 3.5 hours, and I'm just like, the fuck am I doing?
From the research that we've done over the years, that's like the biggest turn on for people is when someone's busy.
Oh, for sure.
Because we would always.
That's why I'm like, she's like, what did you do today? I'm like, oh my God.
We would always have the
Can't even
conversation
explain
about like how long should it take to answer and like playing a game. And it's like, well, it's not really a game, but it is attractive when someone doesn't answer right away.
Yeah.
Because they're probably just busy. And
I don't
people
think
are
I'm
busy.
good at that. I think I just answer.
Yeah.
But I'm not like, I don't know. I'm not that glued to my phone. But if I see a text, I'm never like, maybe I'll let her sit on it for a while. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. But I guess I know what you're saying, where it's like I'm sitting there. I find drive to be really attractive. Like that's something that I look for in a partner, and she's like the most driven person I've ever met. So it's like easy, you know.
And that's why you're back into acting.
That's why I'm like, I know she 100% inspired me.
Really?
For sure. I mean, I'd already done it, but like coming back and seeing her working all the time, I was like, oh yeah, I kind of miss that. Like that's cool. And I think it's different, you know, it's a different, she's on a show, so she's working all the time. And I think for me, I like to play a lot of different characters. I think most actors do, but it's still the action of her going. I'm like, oh, I remember leaving before the sun was up and like sitting in a chair. And I'm sure I feel like an old man when I talk about it though, because it's a different world, you know. I remember back in
2008
when we had to check the gates.
And how many years ago
You
was
were a
it?
baby though. Like you were a legitimate
I started
child.
20 years ago.
20 years ago.
20 years ago I started. I booked my first thing 20
When was
years ago.
Bedtime Stories?
2008.
Wow.
I just started modeling.
I got recognized for the first time.
For the first time?
In the
Well,
Hamptons.
except for when I was like actually
I was
the
about to say.
person, but-
Also at the Amex Airport Lounge, the person like giving me my drink, the bartender is like the biggest Bedtime Stories fan.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, but she told
They were
her I
well
was in
no,
Bedtime
they
Stories.
were two of the bartenders behind the bar were having a Adam Sandler movie discussion, and I was like, did you like Bedtime Stories? And she's like, yeah, I fucking love Bedtime Stories. And I'm like, my boyfriend's in the bathroom, he's the kid from Bedtime Stories. And she like died.
Lost her fucking mind.
Lost her fucking mind.
My favorite thing to do is drive next to
He
the
does the same
Star,
shit
the
every
Star buses with her in the car, you know? In Hollywood.
What?
And I roll down the window.
Oh,
It's
yes, yes,
evil,
yes.
but
I go,
hilarious.
so
at the
I
same time.
present to you Emmy Award-winning Eden McCoy, and everyone looks like, and then she gets recognized in the right place all the time.
I'm sure.
All the
The,
time.
It's
the Emmy,
humiliating.
I'm sure, but also amazing and hilarious. The Emmy award-winning, really fucking
Oh, I
adds.
said every
he can't
chance.
stop.
Every chance
We'll
I
meet
get.
any
This is
new
my
person.
Emmy award-winning girlfriend, Eden
Yeah.
McCoy.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
So let's dig into that.
Listen, if I was
100%.
dating you, I'd do the same thing. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna
Let's
lie.
dig into that
Oh,
a little bit. You could
please.
talk about the Emmy specifically, but the hard launch, you were telling me like a lot of press articles are picking it up.
Yeah.
So how do you guys deal, like how has that press been, but also how do you guys deal with celebrity? It seems like you embrace it at the airport and stuff like that. But what are the like ups and downs of it?
I mean, I'm not a celebrity, so it's a lot.
But you're in the celebrity couple.
It's funny when there were
Celebrity
articles.
couple. You guys are way too generous.
In our eyes, you're a celebrity.
Well, when the articles were written, I like read one, and it was just the most inaccurate info. I have nothing bad. but it was
native
like,
of Illinois.
Yeah.
Who was the
Talking
native?
about
Jonathan
me.
Heit.
You're the native
from the Build-A-Bear movies.
The fuck?
That's what they were saying. I mean, I was in a Build-A-Bear movie, but I wouldn't say it was like my thing. You know what
Your
I mean?
crowning
I
glory?
played Holly and Hal Moose in Build-A-Bear, Holly and Hal Moose
And
Christmas.
he was in Air Bud.
Yeah.
You were an Airbud?
Air Buddies. I was
Air
in Super
Buddies.
Buddies, Spooky Buddies, Santa Buddies, and the Search for Santa Paws.
His voiceover resume goes
But anyways,
crazy.
back to
He's the
Captain
voiceover actor.
Neverland Pirates, whatever it was.
Do you know that he's the voiceover actor for Fresh Rounds of Me commercial?
Are you really?
Yep.
Oh my god, of course.
Recognize that voice anyway.
course.
But I mean, for me, it's not relevant. I'm definitely not a celebrity, but I do think being the not celebrity in a relationship with a big celebrity,
Oh my
I have
God.
no, but actually, I have to be like careful. You know what I mean? Because she is a public persona or person, and like I have to think about certain things that I might post or whatever, just because she has fans that are fans, and then she has fans that are like creepy and obsessed, and it's just like I'll kill them. So it's like I have to be.
Stop.
I have to be.
So now
careful.
have fans and
Like,
articles
no free feet pics.
reach you know what?
I'm never posting her feet. If it's in a photo,
He blocks
I
my
cover it
feet
up.
out of the photo.
Why?
That is
Just
For the
Because
internet?
people
For the feet
like
fetish?
creepy.
people love
Men.
feet.
I don't want her feet on Feet Picker.
It's a lost cause.
It's already
It's already there.
For sure it is.
So now people reach out to you, both fans and like articles, to be like, "Who's your boyfriend?"
No one reaches out to me. Everything that was written about us, we've had zero part in. They took things off social media, like birthday posts, and put random pieces of information together and ran with it.
My mom's
I mean, I have
Instagram,
no
my
say
dad's
over any of that.
Mother's Instagram?
Yeah.
Well, I feel
they
like
found his parents' Instagram. I mean, like, I get the curiosity, but I mean, I don't love that at a certain point. It's just, I don't know. It's so important to me, and he's so important to me, and it's so personal that, like, I don't know. But it's also like, I'm signing up for it. I post him all the time. He posts me all the time, and I like that. I don't want to not do that. But you know, like people can take it too far.
But that's your prerogative. Your prerogative
Yeah.
is to be able to share your relationship as much or as little as you want to, right? And it's when you're in the public eye, when you're in the spotlight a little bit, and there's like these fucking weird fans or just crazy people in general, where they pull that information out and they kind of start to spin the story. But I think you guys have such a solid foundation. Obviously, like the foundation around you as well is so solid that you can kind of just laugh at it and go, all right, you're not from fucking Illinois.
Oh yeah, no,
that's
I
hilarious.
message back and forth with her fans. She's like, "What are you doing?"
He's like,
they'll DM me like, "Where did you get that shirt?" And I'll just like respond. She's
and
like,
I'm like-
"Why
and
are
I'm
you
like-
responding?ing?"
I mean, that's fine.
nice.
It's not.
No, it's actually
that's
worse.
a
It's
bad
usually worse.
example.
I'll like, they'll be like, "Why are you dating her? We don't like you." And
Yeah,
like,
they'll like tear him to
and
shreds.
then I'm just like, I'm sorry. Like,
and he's like responding, and I'm like, let's not feed into this
you never
behavior right
respond.
now.
way too many photos of yourself on this Instagram. Delete them, and I'm like, okay, which one do you want to delete?
Of your own Instagram?
I love that.
Yeah, I'm just like respond.
Wanted to be a Eden McCoy fan page?
You were in that boat that Jonathan's in when you dated Nolan. I feel like the paparazzi were like, "Who's Hannah? Who's Hannah?"
Yeah, and then they chose the fucking worst photos of me ever. Like, legitimately the absolute worst
farmers
photos.
market photos.
Yeah,
Fuck
dude.
you.
When I first started dating her,
Fuck you.
I googled her, and of course, like all the Wilhelmina stuff came up after, but all the photos were her with Nolan, and I was like,
Larchmont Farmers
I was
Market,
like, "Ooh, she's a lot more."
Larchmont
Studio City, bitch.
Oh,
But I was like,
wow,
she's a
bad
lot
girl.
prettier than these photos portray.
Yeah, they chose the fucking worst things, and they just like chose so many things. But then that's when you start to get an insight into like how the media kind of twists and turns things just to be able to garner a reaction out of people. And clearly, they're just trying to like poke at your fans, being like, "Go after him."
Well, I mean, they just, you know, I just think it's really interesting for people. I mean, I fall victim to that. I feel like that's like a human thing. Like people, like celebrities, you want to know who they're with, and like people in like major like celebrity couples, like it's interesting for sure. Like I find it interesting, but I would never like get online about it. You know what I mean? And like
we're going
contribute
for-
to that conversation.
Yeah, we're going for the Blake and Ryan kind of situation. That's
Love
the
that.
case.
Oh,
Great
dude,
couple
I don't
to
know if you
emulate.
watched
That's
all of our
that's
podcasts.
our role model couple.
We put together our top 5 celebrity couples, and they
It's
were up
weird,
there.
I didn't
Joe
get a
did.
notification.
It was-
that
Joe
we
did
were
it.
on there.
It-
yeah, I know.
No, you
What's
were
up with
on
that?
there.
Yeah.
Blake and Ryan, and then it was Biebs and Haley, and it was.
I had no part of making this list. I just want to put that out there.
That's the funniest part to me.
Yeah.
He's like looking up before he
No,
makes it, like,
legitimately. It's like, we
celebrity
should be more
couples.
like Blake and Ryan.
Sergio
I'm like,
Ramos and
we
Pilar
don't know them.
Rubio. Yeah, but they were in there.
I'm going to
Okay.
need
Well,
you to
they're
move on to the
great.
next section.
Yes. So obviously the Fresh Rounds on Me podcast is tied to the Fresh Rounds on Me app. And one of the features after a lot of research that I really like about the app was
that you created.
that it gives people the tool set of an actual date. Because when a lot of people are dating, they don't know like a drink, a time, and place. And it causes a lot of friction and turns a lot of women specifically off when there's no plan.
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah, so that's one of the features that I really like about our app. When it comes to you guys, I want you to tell me if you like that concept and what your favorite drink time and place is for Eden and Jonathan.
Well, obviously, I mean, obviously, I like the concept. Because
Did you run into that when you were dating? Like, if maybe when you first started dating Eden or before Eden, someone was like, "Yeah, I want to meet up with you," and you're like, "Oh shit, now what do I do?"
I mean, personally, no, because
You're a stud.
well, no, it's just like I like the app mostly because like I don't like to chat. Like I'm not a phone. I don't like being on my phone. I don't like chatting back and forth. We like. I mean, if we were in separate places, obviously we'd probably text more. But on a daily, like when she's at work, we just text about things that we need to text about. It's not like we're sitting there wondering, like, oh, so you know, what do you think about? You know, I mean, maybe how's your day? Or so to that point, like just getting to the point and going on a date, it's just it's a combat to the virus that is like just the gratification of getting someone that likes you online. And then but we didn't really have that problem because we just went from being friends to just then dating, and it was like, oh, now I can stay over. Like, it's a lot, you know, we can go to dinner together. Where are you hungry? But as like the man or whatever, I mean, I'm constantly asking her, where do you want to eat? And there's never an answer. So I think if there was like a, you know, if I had an app that was like, oh, today I get this discount at this restaurant, I'd be like, oh shit, you know what sounds good to me for dinner? You know?
Wait, have you seen that trick where they go, babe, guess where I'm taking you?
Yeah, I've tried.
That's
I've
the
tried.
best.
What's the trick?
You tried what?
I've tried, but she didn't.
What is it?
She didn't
Well,
respond.
you go to like, I mean, either gender, whatever, but you go, hey babe, guess where I'm taking you tonight? And then the other person goes, oh my god, Pache, and you go, exactly.
Yeah.
And then they kind of like solves the whole, you know what I mean? Don't try. I know it, so don't try to use it on me. But
You tried that with
Yeah, and you were like, I don't know. where are you taking me? And I'm like,
No, I'm so indecisive.
all right, so what would be the perfect drink time and place?
The perfect drink time and place can be anything.
Anything in this
with
world.
me or in general?
No, with you.
Together.
I hope with you.
Yeah, me too. That was a test. I would say it involves raw fish.
Sushi.
Yeah,
He's getting it. Sushi and, I mean,
probably Katsuya the Valley.
we're
Wait,
obsessed.
Wednesday
dude,
night,
I fucking love that
7
Katsuya.
p.m.
It's, yeah.
Yeah.
Or like,
If we're like, is it like an important?
Whatever you want.
Average date night, we're constantly craving Katsuya with the dash in between. Not
to be
Katsuya.
confused with-
That one is
yeah.
the best.
The best one, mostly because of the price, but it also tastes
It's
better.
fucking incredible.
And then I don't know. I mean, your birthday dinner was pretty magical, but that's a
Topanga and wine
yeah.
is always nice. The beach is always nice.
Yeah.
Costa Rica was fun to drink at.
Yeah, but I mean, date spot Costa Rica.
Yeah, you know,
Date
just
spot
go to
in Costa
Costa Rica.
We actually
Figure
did
it
go.
out.
I wish I remembered the name. We went to the most amazing. The first night we were there in Costa Rica, this like the view was
Up in the
insane,
hills,
super
yeah.
relaxed. They just had like meat and wine and drinks, and we got
Buzzed.
fucked up, and
I
then,
got
and then rode
really
an ATV
buzzed.
home. It was incredible.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was safe, of course, but
Of course. So,
Is it game time?
It is game time.
Oh
I
my
didn't
God,
want to let
yay.
today go without playing a game because games are some of our favorite things to do. And we
course.
typically do this this section called "How Well Do You Know Yourself" with one-on-one with our guests. But I thought it would be kind of
nervous.
interesting to see how well you two know each other.
Yeah.
They're a little bit.
It will be.
It will be. So you've both got pens and paper there. You're going to write down the answer, and then I'm going to ask the other person what they.
so I'm guessing for her.
So I'm going to say say the first one. What's her favorite color? Softball to begin with, right? So you write it down. You write down
I
what
write
you
down
think his favorite
his
color
favorite
is, and we're going to flip it around and see if you're right.
Well, okay, this is this annoying one because she changes it.
Well,
every
too bad,
week.
Jonathan. It's part of the game.
Okay, this is usually her answer.
Hold on.
That's
Don't show it. Okay, I've seen it. Yes, good. She's writing a fucking novel.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, wait,
so
I don't even know my favorite color.
what's your favorite color?
Pink.
Ding, ding, ding. He got a point. John, what is your favorite color?
Okay, well, I have a short answer. It's green, but it's like a darker green. Darker greens usually like a forest green.
Doesn't really have one but green.
Oh!
If that wasn't perfect, I don't know what is.
Wow.
this game is starting off fantastic.
Wow.
All right. Well, I was going to
We're
ask
competitive too. This
Yeah.
me and
what
him
the
too, so I'm loving this.
We
All
need
right.
to
So
fight about who's more competitive.
yeah,
Okay.
competitive.
I'm more competitive than you. I'm more competitive.
I was
Let
going
me
to say
settle
who
in
said
here.
I love you first, but we kind of found that out a little bit earlier with the
it's a
slip of thumb,
debate,
so we're not
yeah.
going to do that one.
She,
Yeah,
she-
it's
yes,
me.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Next.
When was your first kiss?
Okay. Might have been his friends.
I mean, like the date?
Like where were
Well,
you?
we're going
Like,
to say the same thing.
yeah. Okay. So
We can
say
say where it is.
yeah where
Okay.
it is.
In a car?
Eden's car. Yeah, that works. Okay, so describe your partner in 3 words. I want to see if they can guess
Oh,
the
yeah.
words
We
that you
do this all the
chose.
time.
Wait. Oh, if I can guess hers?
What she's
But I'm-
described
I'm-
you for 3
okay.
words, and she's gonna guess what 3 words
Okay.
you described her with.
I'm writing my own words.
No, you're writing her words.
Oh.
He's
Describe
describing her.
your partner
they're
in
go-
3 words.
You're
Yeah,
describing
describe
her.
me in 3 words.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
she's describing you.
And
But I'm guessing my own. I'm describing her.
Yeah,
on
yeah,
this
sorry.
paper.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the first
We
time
need
we've
a
done
Should
rule
we
book
read
for this
them?
game.
Should we read them?
Okay.
Eden, what words do you think that Jonathan came up with for you?
Funny, driven, passionate,
Oof, close.
kind.
I did driven, humorous, so funny, and humble.
Oh, that's sweet. Thanks, baby.
Jono, what do you think that she said about you?
I mean, gotta be funny.
Gotta
be on you. Funny. I'd say probably driven as well. Or, yeah, driven. And kind. Kind is on there.
Creative, hilarious, kind.
Oh,
wow.
creative.
Hilarious. Oh, that's kind of cool. I like that one.
Humorous and hilarious. Those big words.
Yeah.
I want to know what their favorite type of food is.
All right.
No cheating.
No looking at each other.
I mean, I don't know.
Come on, come on,
Sure,
come on.
but-
I feel like I'm doing the Jimmy Fallon thing where they like reveal to the audience.
Do
and the
it.
audience
Reveal it
sees
to the audience. Okay.
I don't know. I put...
Stunning.
Wow.
I thought we
handwriting.
both dotted the I as a heart.
Oh,
for
that
a
would've
second.
been
That would have been a little
You know what's
creepy.
you know what's also interesting is we've played a lot of games on the show, and no one's ever gotten a perfect score in any game. So you guys might get the
You got
perfect,
two more. And
I
so
mean,
Make them
perfect
hard.
score.
Make them harder.
I don't think I wrote down any questions that are super hard. All right. When did you go on your first trip together?
Wow.
Oh, yeah. I got
I have a
this one.
hard one.
Okay,
I'll
you can
throw,
ask
I'll
that.
throw them for a
Like
loop.
any trip.
When
any
was the
distance.
first time you went on a trip together as a couple?
As a couple.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
That's an easy one. We're gonna make.
Well,
this game
no,
harder for
we're
you
not
guys.
going to split hairs.
Well,
We weren't officially
She hasn't
a
written
couple,
anything down yet.
but we were
okay.
sleeping in the same
Same car.
tent.
Camping in Sequoia.
No.
Okay.
Ding, ding, ding. All right, Joe. You go.
Well, this might be too hard.
Oh,
Try
yeah,
me.
Yeah, come on now.
Come on.
Can't let him get a perfect score.
When's the first time the other person was on film?
What year?
No. Like, what were they in?
Ooh.
What was the first thing they were ever in?
Yeah. What was the first thing Jonathan was in? What was the
There's
first
no
thing
way.
He
Who
doesn't know
knows
this. And I don't know that.
See,
Good
what
job.
was
It's too hard.
hard.
Guess.
What was it?
What was
Yeah, it
the first thing that
before-
you were each in?
before tenured years?
Yeah.
It was how I would never. Oh, a commercial. Must have been a commercial.
It was a commercial.
It was a commercial, and it was.
I want you to write
See,
it
he
down.
might
It
know.
was it not Comcast, but like you order stuff online.
Oh, you're thinking about the commercials I showed you.
Yeah,
No. Those weren't my first.
mine was
ever.
also a commercial, but
For
there's no way. I don't even remember. I think it was a grocery store, and I sat on the counter. I ate blueberries and never had a blueberry.
You know
before.
that Jonathan was on General Hospital?
Before you?
Really?
He said, "Thanks, Santa." What did
Yeah,
he say?
thank you, Santa Claus.
Thank you, Santa Claus. He was a kid that walked away and said, "Thank you, Santa Claus." You were how old? 3, 4?
Yeah, 3, 4.
Little tiny baby.
My
Jonathan.
favorite was when we first became friends with Jonathan. It was around Valentine's Day, and we were watching Valentine's Day. And there's just this punk little kid that I don't even know what you said. And I was
My
like,
name
"That's
in the
Jonathan."
movie was Tough Franklin.
I never knew he was in Valentine's Day.
Tough
until
Frank.
you
Oh,
took
it's
me to that
awesome.
Oh, I
movie,
thought you
by
meant
the
till
way.
now. I was like, wow.
You were the goalie, right?
Yeah.
And someone shot a shot, and you were like,
You got
had
not in Franklin's house.
Yeah.
You had a bucket in your head too.
"Not in
still
Franklin's
do.
house."
He's the cutest kid.
Well, by that curveball that Joe threw at the end, you guys got.
It was too
100%
easy
sure.
because they know each other very well.
Yeah.
And
That's the game, to see how well they know each other. Another couple might have not fared as well. But
If they don't know that stuff, they can break up right
You're
now.
clearly meant to be in a relationship.
I agree.
And I'm so glad that this podcast could prove that.
And next podcast will be at the wedding,
Oh.
which she can tell you about. No.
Oh my God, stop, my heart started beating so quickly.
Should I do it on camera right now?
Should you just get
That would
married
be-
on the First Round Semi podcast?
talk about going viral for fresh rounds
The
of me.
thumbnail
Seriously.
is just him on the floor. I'm
I'm
crying.
going to do the outro, sweetheart.
Oh yeah, I haven't done the outro in so long because it's our first podcast back from Australia. But happy dating. Thank you guys for listening. This has been an amazing episode. Listen to our past episode and subscribe. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Jonathan and Eden. We love you.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you.
Let's
Love
go paint
you.
and sip.
Hell
Yes.
freaking yeah.
Paint and
Bye.
sip. Bye.